What's poppin', homies? It's your favorite homegirl, Got Some Girl here, and today I want to come and talk to you about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. They are indicted on murder charges in the death of their two kids. Now, I did a story on these two kids when they was first went missing. Joshua JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan were 7 and 16 when they disappeared. Something wasn't right with the case. I knew from jump that Lori and Chad had done something with those children. Okay? My thing is they got away with too much. They got away with too much because if that was any other person, first of all, it was in Hawaii. They was telling them they need to get back and give proof that the kids are okay. They were stalling. To me, they got away with too much. They got away with too much. And it pissed me off, and that's why I stopped talking about it for a little while. So the next time I talk about this, I want them to be indicted for murder and those kids get justice. And it happened. I was on Twitter and my homegirl tagged me. She was like, look, finally. And I was like, oh, thank God, finally. These kids are going to get justice because Lori and her husband are nutcases, okay? Lori Vallow, she got history anyway. And I think they need to go back and find out if she's in a connection with her husband's death. Well, they said the brother, that was self-defense. And then the brother died. And I'm like, something's not right here. So let's get into this whole story, okay? Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, the mother and stepfather of two Idaho kids, were last seen in September 2019. Were indicted on the first-degree murder charges Tuesday in the children's death. So glad. Joshua JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan were 7 and 16, respectively, when they disappeared. Daybell was also indicted on the charge of first-degree murder in the death of his then-wife, Tammy Daybell. Okay? Local, state, and federal law enforcement professionals and local and state prosecutors have worked tirelessly for nearly a year and a half to gather the facts and evidence necessary to bring forward charges on the behalf of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. Fremont County Prosecutor Lindsay Blake said in a statement, due to the ongoing safety restrictions imposed by the courts during the pandemic, we just recently were given permission to present information to the grand jury for their review. They deliberated and determined there is probable cause to believe that the Daybells willfully and knowingly conspired to commit several crimes that led to the death of 3 innocent people. Attorneys for Vallow and Daybell did not immediately return a request for comment. Tylee was last seen on September 8th, 2019. Police were able to find a photo from that day of Tylee on a trip with Vallow. Vallow's brother Alex Cox and Joshua to Yellowstone National Park, according to authorities. Joshua, who has special needs, was last seen alive September 23rd, 2019 at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg. When police went to Vallow's home to conduct a welfare check at the prompting of his grandmother in November, Joshua was nowhere to be found. But Vallow and Daybell had never reported the children missing and did not cooperate with investigators before they fled the state. And this is said by the Rexburg police. They were found in Hawaii January 2020, at which point authorities gave Vallow until the end of the month to physically produce her children. Now, see right there, I have a problem with that. A welfare check was done, and the little boy was nowhere to be found, right? So they flee to Hawaii. The authorities gave them until the end of the month. No, you don't give them to the end of the month. You tell them you want to see the children now. See, that's what I had a problem with, because they was given too much rope. Okay, too much to do whatever they want to do. They gave them a choice, actually, to bring it, make sure we want to see proof at the end of the month. No, When children are involved and children are missing and no one has seen these kids, you want it done now. And that's what I had an issue with. I'm like, they in Hawaii, they skipped off to Hawaii, okay? And then you want to tell them they got to the end of the month to physically produce her children? Like, come on. And she did not. And she was charged with 2 counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children. In June 2020, Daybell was taken into custody after the remains of Vallow's children were found on his property. I remember that. Daybell had previously been charged with 2 felony counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and 2 felony counts of destruction, altercation, or concealment of evidence. He pleaded not guilty to these charges. Vallow had previously been charged with misdemeanor resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. She pleaded not guilty to those charges. Daybell, a self-published author who has written more than 24 books about near-death and doomsday events, and this is why we call them the Doomsday couple. And Vallow married weeks after Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, was found dead in her home in October. She was only 49 years old. So this man, he was a self-published author, right? He written more than 24 books about near-death and doomsday events. Now, Miss Vallow, Wacko Vallow, married him weeks after Daybell's first wife. Tammy Daybell was found dead in her home in October, and she was only 49 years old. So, Wacko Vallow, she married this man weeks after his wife was found dead in her home. Like, this is real sick. This is sick. Tammy Daybell's death was initially ruled as a natural, but since been classified as suspicious, and her remains were exhumed so an autopsy could be conducted. An autopsy was completed in February of this year, but authorities in Utah and Idaho did not release it due to ongoing investigation. Now, Vallow's 4th husband, Chad Daybell, also died in 2019. Okay? It's too much death around this couple. He was shot to death by Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, in July during a confrontation in Chandler, Arizona. Cox claimed, air quotations, he claimed that it was in self-defense. The Maricopa County medical examiner in Arizona ruled the death as a homicide. Vallow and Cox were questioned by police but not charged. Cox died in December. What happened to him? What did he die from? I think she had a hand in that, to be honest with you. Before Charles Vallow died, he filed for divorce, claiming in documents that his wife believed she was reincarnated and was a God sent to lead people during the second coming of Christ in July of 2020. And she told her husband that if he got in her way, she would kill him. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Wax City. Wax City. Vallow's 3rd husband and Tylee's father, Joseph Ryan, also expressed real and serious concerns in court documents in the midst of their divorce and custody battle. The document said Vallow was ordered to undergo a psychological evaluation after she told social workers that death would be an option before giving Tylee to her father. And she followed through on that. Sadly. Mr. Joseph Ryan, even for a visit. Ryan died of apparent heart attack in 2018. An online obituary said Ryan was 59 years old. So Ryan, Tylee's father, died in 2018, of a heart attack. This whole, Miss Vallow and Daybell, the Doomsday couple, them some wicked people. It's so much death around him. Okay. Daybell. His wife was found dead in October, okay, in her house. And then Miss Lori Vallow married him weeks after that. Vallow's husband, okay, Charles, he died at the hands of Alex Cox, right? And said it was in self-defense, but they ruled it as a homicide and he was not charged. Okay, now in December, her brother ended up dying. Next, Tylee's father, okay, said that she was, strange, and the stuff that she said to him about giving up Tylee, death would be an option before giving Tylee to her father, Mr. Joseph Ryan, even for a visit. So we see she followed through on that with Tylee Ryan. She, the poor girl is gone. She's dead because of her mother and stepfather. And he died, and Joseph Ryan died of a heart attack in 2018. And he was 59 years old. It's too much death around these people. Too much death around these people. I feel, I really feel as if they're charged with the murder charges, first-degree murder. But they took away two children's lives. And I think they should need the death penalty. I think that if you take a life, if you take a life, and let's say it wasn't like your life was in danger. If you just took someone's life just to do it, because you feel you have that right to just do it, you need to spend your whole life in jail. You need the death penalty. That's what I think. But I'm glad they are charged. They are indicted. I'm so glad those children finally get justice. My heart go out to the other families, the grandparents, because they was looking for their grandkids. They were like, well, they the one that send out for a welfare check. Hey, can you go check the home and see what's going on with the kids? So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, I did this story a while ago when it first hit the media, when it first hit online. I did a story about it, and I said, you know what? Because so much was going on with this, and it was pissing me off, actually. And I said, you know what? Let me just wait until if they ever get charged with murder, and I'll pick it up again. And they did. So here it is. Guys, are y'all familiar with the Joshua Vallow and Tylee Ryan case? The Doomsday couple, Lori Vallow and what's her husband's name? Chad Daybell. Are you familiar with this case? It's just sad. It's just really sad. These kids will never get a chance to experience life. Life was taken from them, and it's just sad. They had some wacko parents and step parents, I tell you. But anyway, guys, I had another story for you tonight, but I'm tired, and I'm just not feeling myself today. I'm just tired. So I'm gonna go rest up and wait for my other show to come on tonight. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Alright? So you have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.